Welcome to the Health Beat Show. I'm Dr. Jeffrey Watson, and with me is none other than really the father of comedy, as we now see it today, and none other than Mr. Paul Mooney. How you doing, Paul?
Sir, I'm fine. How are you?
Good, blessed.
You're my doctor. That's why I'm shaking hands with you.
Well, thank you. That's a blessing. And you're my friend, and our families have been friends for a long time.
Of course.
We've been friends for a long time.
Our family has been family. It's no problem.
That's right. Your mother and my mother went to church together. Church by the side of the road.
We went to school together.
Went to school together.
In fact, grammar school.
Is that so?
Uh-huh.
Is your mother from, where's she from? Texas?
Huh?
Where's your mother from?
Here.
She's from here in the Bay.
But but originally they're all from somewhere else.
Yeah.
They all come from Louisiana.
Louisiana,
all
Texas, the South.
All of the South.
Mainly the South.
Oh,
Where did you grow up?
You too.
Yeah, I spent time down there.
Yeah, ain't no time. You try to lie and say you're from England or France and somewhere or some other.
Try to have that high flu.
Some other crap.
Well, I'm from Oakland. That's where I say I'm from.
But they're all from Mississippi.
From Mississippi. Where are you from?
You know that we all are. We all, because we was all scared. We wouldn't go to Mississippi because we knew what we'd get there. A tree.
Get special fruit.
Yeah.
Special fruit.
No, that's Nina Simone. What was it?
Strange fruit.
Right.
Strange fruit.
Ain't that cold? Hanging from a tree. Ain't that cold?
Now, let me ask you this. Where did you grow up? You're from the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to high school?
Berkeley.
Berkeley High School?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It was real white then. It was real vanilla.
It was vanilla at that time.
Oh, yeah. White on white on white. Critically white. They could drop dead from
now
being
it's
white.
A multicultural
It
place.
ain't multi. It's Mexican now. Don't fool yourself.
Now, you've come from a community that is multicultural.
Oh, of course.
And how is it that you ended up getting into the world of comedy, the media world that you have gotten into, and really have excelled to be the father of comedy as we know it in the United States today?
Well, you know, my mother was on a bus that turned upside down. I'm not supposed to be here. On record, I'm not supposed to be here.
Is that so?
Yeah.
She
was on a bus that turned upside down.
While you were,
she was pregnant by me.
Is that so?
Yeah, I'm not supposed to be here.
Wow.
And they said that my mother was dead on arrival. How do they say it? They have codes for
DOA.
it. Yeah.
DOA.
Mm-hmm.
But she survived.
Mm-hmm.
And then had you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you grew up here in the Bay.
And the doctor was what do you call those people that sees the future?
And could he foresee?
A warlock. Yeah, she was.
He could see who you were going to be.
It was she.
Oh, it was a she?
It was a female.
It was a female. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, here's a question I have. Your name, when you originated as a child, was Jimmy Ely. Is that correct?
Well, that was the birth certificate.
That was the birth certificate?
Because of my grandfather.
Because of your grandfather. What was your grandfather's name?
Because I was born in a house.
Oh, you were born in a house?
Yeah.
In the Bay here?
Huh?
In the Bay, you were born in a house?
Yeah.
And his last name was Ely.
In the South.
In the South?
Louisiana.
Okay. Louisiana.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was different than here. And also, it was whoever it was a pecking order. Then it was a pecking order.
Then it was a pecking order.
Yeah, whoever, the grandfather, the grandmother, there was a pecking order.
And that's how the names came down.
Yeah.
That's how the names came down.
Not like now.
Not like now.
No, they don't. Nobody knows who their dad. Nobody knows who their daddy is. But go ahead. It's the truth.
I mean, that's a lot. Baby mama, baby daddy. There's a lot of that going on. When did you become? We know you are Paul Mooney. When did that name arrive?
Well, I was already writing. I was always able to write. That was easy for me. Mm-hmm. And truthisms, I called them. And Mooneyisms, and well, that's what what's his name used to say all the time. That man that thought he was white that killed himself. Soul Train man. What was his name?
Oh, Don Cornelius.
Yeah, Don Cornelius. He would say Mooneyisms.
He would say that to you.
To me.
About the things that you.
They're Mooneyisms. I said, what does that mean, Don? He said, Mooneyism. So you make people believe what you say. I said, you sound like you're talking about yourself. He used to ask me to write comedy for him.
Well, you are so outspoken. I mean, now, you started out in the Bay doing dance, is that correct?
Yeah, from Dance Party.
Dance
But you
Party.
said outspoken?
Yes, outspoken, because eventually you have become one of the people, you go back to Don Cornelius, Soul Train. I mean, that was the first of its kind. Dance Party, of course, but Soul Train went national, international as being
Yeah, Dick Stewart.
yeah, and then Dick Stewart on American Bandstand and all that kind of stuff. But you evolved at a time in which we were Negroes, colored people, black people, and then this term came out in the media,
Negroes.
in which
And what
Richard
did you
Pryor,
say? Negroes and
colored people,
colored people, and who else?
black people.
That's not what we are.
Then
That's not a reality.
what's the reality?
That's not the reality. We're stolen Africans.
Stolen Africa.
Definitely. I mean, what other? We're stolen Africans.
That's
Are we
true.
not?
That's true.
Stolen.
That's
not,
true.
Not paid for, stolen. When you take someone from their home, it's like taking them to the moon. There was no way back.
Yeah.
How do they get back? That's why when my grandmother used to sit us up and tell us stories, we loved it because it was all about Africa. And when she told them, when Mama told them, Mama Ely, when Mama told us story, we were sitting there, we were a captive audience, we were fascinated with it. And she would tell us late at night, and she would scare us. And she would tell us that the Africans walk back to Africa. I mean, that's a hell of a thing. To go in that ocean and walk back?
They could walk on water.
Now, that's some Jesus stuff. I think that's where Michael Jackson got that from.
That's an excellent point. And see, this is what I'm saying. You use terms that a lot of us wouldn't use. And eventually, in comedy and on records and television.
That's true, but I used them when it wasn't popular to use.
Yes.
See, it's different now. When I was coming up, the world was vanilla, and they wouldn't even say what race they were. And they would say that their mother was their maid or that their mother was their cousin. They would talk crazy talk. How do you say that? There's not enough money or fame in the world. How do you say that your mother is not related to you?
Where they pretended? What was the name of that movie?
Imitation of Life?
Imitation of Life,
Yeah.
same thing.
Oh,
and
yes.
that was the maid.
With that Nat King Cole, Imitation. That was Nat King Cole.
That was Nat King Cole saying that?
You know, the Imitations of Life. He was the first, and as black as he was, he's black as Wesley Snipes, and that's black. Now that's black. Now we're talking black. Yeah. Now when we mention Wesley, which is my favorite, I love Wesley. He loves me to death. I love him to death. Now that's
black.
I mean, that's blue black.
Okay.
I mean, if you was riding Wesley on your motorcycle, they would give you a ticket for tinted windows. You know what I mean? I mean, come on, that's black.
Well, listen. Eventually, you started to write for some of the greatest movies, the comedies. Let me just give a few of the names of the television shows. The Chappelle Show.
The who show?
The Chappelle, Dave Chappelle.
Okay. All right.
In Living Color. You wrote for In Living Color.
Negro Damas.
Yes.
That was my favorite.
And then Pryor's Place, with Richard Pryor, of course.
Oh, the Kids' Place show.
The Richard Pryor Show, where you were a writer and actor. Saturday Night Live. You've written on Saturday Night Live.
The White Folks Show.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Good Times. Mm-hmm. Good Times. Sanford and Son. Mm-hmm. Okay, with Red Fox and
look, and they play that all the time.
Yep.
They play it all the time.
And you know, my brother James was on that show.
Oh, I know.
With Damon. Mm-hmm. And Why We Laugh, the Black Comedians on Black Comedy documentary. Mm-hmm. The Ketchup King, Call Me Claus, PBS Hollywood, Bamboozled, High Frequency.
But go back. That was my favorite.
Bamboozled?
Uh-huh. Because of Negro Damas, but go ahead.
Then also High Frequency, In the Army Now.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
The Legend of Dolomite.
My favorite.
Hollywood Shuffle. JoJo Dancer,
My favorite.
Bustin' Loose.
My favorite.
I Knew Why They Caged Bird Sings.
My favorite.
The Buddy Holly Story.
My favorite.
Which Way Is Up? You wrote that and acted in that, and then FTA documentary. I mean, so many.
Oh, I
things.
love that when I was hanging out with Jane Fonda.
Yeah, all these different people you have written for. And you know, there was probably a time when people didn't understand that you were the mindset, the voice, and the thought process of these actors and comedians, that it really was coming from your writing. Like, I don't think people understood that when Richard Pryor was in his heyday, that a lot of the things that were written and the jokes that he was telling, the stories that he was telling, came from your writing. And when some of the things that you wrote, like, here's the thing. We talk about, you said stolen Africans, is what blacks, Negroes, colored people. Richard Pryor came out in his records and movies, started using the word nigger. That nigger's crazy. Now, a lot of people, that was a shock for black people to refer to other black people in that fashion. Way ahead of its time, very controversial.
Oh, black people have always used that word.
But on stage, in TV, and in
no,
movies?
not on TV, not in the public, but with each other. That word was a loving word. It was a caring word.
Who decided to put it out there in the fashion
Richard
that
and
Richard
I.
did? Both of you did. Both of you did. It was
We were on a mission. We were like a crackhead. We were on a mission.
You're on a mission. And that,
You heard what I said, like a crackhead. Because you know you've done crack, so like a crackhead. You've been there.
and well, we know Richard had some issues with that, but he did not bar anything, which meant that you did not bar anything. You put things out there. As a matter of fact, I was talking with your brother, Rudy Ely. He was showing me some of your video, which we are showing here on
Well, he
this
was a
show.
crackhead, so you were talking to the right person. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, basically, he showed me a video in which one of our local favorites, Davy D, was interviewing you. Davy D, who's had a radio show, been on KMEL.
David who?
Davy D. He's very well known in the Bay here.
Who would have a name like David what?
Davy D, that's what they call him.
That's a very white name.
Well, we all got those names.
Yeah, but is his parents white?
I don't know.
David D. His wife must be white, or half white. Somebody is. David
Anyway.
D. Who would name their black person David D?
Well, who knows?
Unless
But he asked you
David
some
D.
about politics. The fact that some 30 years ago, you foresaw that there was going to be a black president.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you wrote a skit.
Richard and I both, and that it would be a black Miss America. Yeah, we saw all that. We saw the future.
And
Yeah.
you really believed that that would happen.
Oh no, we didn't believe it. We knew it.
Most older black people wanted to believe that, but they never thought that there would really become a day that
Oh, they
we
knew.
would see
They knew.
Barack Obama.
Oh no, they knew. They knew it was coming because we've had a lot of black presidents. They just didn't say they were black, and especially the ones who said that they hated black people. You knew then they were black.
Well, most people thought Bill Clinton was the first black president.
No, Bill Clinton was not the first black president. No,
Most people thought that.
no.
Now, in the skit, which we'll show,
He was the first white president who acted like he was black.
the first white president that
Yeah,
acted like
because
he
he
was
had a black girl in the background that he was sleeping with, and it wasn't who everybody thinks. Everybody thinks, what's her name? That they
Monica
think?
Lewinsky.
Huh?
They thought it was Monica Lewinsky.
No, Monica Lewinsky wasn't black.
No, I know she wasn't. But who?
Who was it? The one that always says, she would always say, "Oh, he's my husband." What was her name? The little black girl,
I don't know.
the little singing one.
The singing one. Well, you know a
The
lot
one,
more.
the little prostitute. What was her name?
Uh-oh.
What was her name? Condoleezza what? Yeah, Condoleezza Rice. Everybody gets it confused. They think that it was
Bush was.
but it was that Bush Jr. It was Bush Sr. that she was sleeping with.
Oh, is that so?
Oh, of course.
Oh,
and
okay.
and the mama knew it. What's the mama's name? The one that looks like that man on the oatmeal box. What's her name? You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, Aunt Jemima.
No, no. That Barbara Bush.
Oh, Barbara Bush.
Who looks like, yeah,
Okay.
the man on that oatmeal box. You know who I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Well, listen, now you really got into civil rights. A lot of the stuff that you do. As a matter of fact,
I don't want to back you up, but guess who's playing Harriet Tubman?
Who?
Guess. The one that white folks say is the most brilliant actress ever to step on a stage. Meryl somebody, what's her name? Meryl Streep.
She's playing Harriet
She's
Tubman?
playing, yeah. You think I'm playing? She's playing Harriet Tubman.
Okay. Here you have your latest book.
Oh, Black is the New White. Oh, it's an easy read. Have you read it?
I haven't read it.
You
I
have
want
to
to
read
read it.
It only takes 20 minutes.
Okay.
It's an easy read.
All right. Well,
And is that the original or the?
I think it's the
there's
original.
Oh, I hope so, because they have two copies, you know.
Oh, there's two copies of it? Okay.
They take stuff out.
Well, we know-
stuff they don't want you black people to know.
We know that when we go way back, that you being from the Bay Area, spending a lot of time in Oakland, Berkeley, and so on, this was an era in which civil rights was big. You had the Black Panthers. You had the NAACP. Martin Luther King.
Huey Newton.
Huey Newton, Martin Luther King, and we have a street right there in Berkeley that we call Martin Luther King Street, near where you grew up.
Well, they murdered Huey.
Right in the area that they murdered.
They murdered Huey. They murdered him
Right.
because they got him on those drugs.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
And
They set him up, they waited. Because those policemen that Huey killed, they were just like, what do you call them? Privates. They were nobodies. And then when the years passed, they became real important, all the way up to the White House. They became all the way up to those crooked police. It went all the way up to the White House. You know that night that Huey was killed, in fact, the night that O.J.'s wife was supposedly killed, a whole bunch of people got killed that night across the world behind that. Trust me.
There was a major
If they were
effort.
all like, could see the future, all of them would have been back there stabbing her. Oh no, bitch, you got to die. We've seen the future. You got to go, bitch.
Okay.
Because
Well,
they wouldn't have had anything. All of them. It went all the way up to the White House.
So many people have thought that there was a whole political theory to eliminate blacks, particularly blacks that were leaders, achievers,
course.
and
Yeah.
some of the most smartest
Yes.
people out there. How is it that you
Everybody but Jesse Jackson.
How is it that you've been courageous enough, though?
Him and his old baby. But go ahead.
How is it that you have been courageous enough to actually come out and talk about these things? I mean, you talk about them in a fashion just like you did with Richard Pryor.
Yeah, it was bold. It was
very
nervy.
bold.
It was very nervy of me.
Did you receive threats for
the
talking on?
Klan used to come.
The Klan
Oh,
used
the
to
Klan
come?
sent me letters, yeah.
Oh, they did? And they would tell you to stop talking about these types of things?
No, they said, keep it up, please. We're in a rest home. Please keep doing it. They would send me money.
To keep it up, huh? Well, you put it out there in a way that it's never been put out there. And we want to...
Here, he's showing it. Bring that to us. Pryor's Place. Oh, those are the best.
Oh, yeah.
You see that
The Richard
wig?
Pryor Show.
Oh, the best.
The Richard Pryor Show.
Absolute best.
And you wrote
I did
wrote
everything.
this.
See the outfit? I designed that outfit. I did it all. In fact, Richard didn't want to do this. He said, I have done so many movies with preachers and stuff. That's burn out with me. And I don't want to do any preacher stuff. Because he did that whole preacher stuff with
Right, I remember that.
all those shows.
He was so many different
He didn't
parts.
want to. So I said, no. I said, guess what? You just go ahead and do what you do, go on home and go and have yourself some fun. And I'll have them call you when I get this done. I called the wig lady in. I made her do this big natural. See this natural? I cut a big V all the way down to here. I said, make it skin tight. I called the Pointer Sisters and everyone I knew they could sing. I got them together. I said, and I knew what his favorite song was with Aretha. I said, you get them together, including Aretha. I got them together. I said, so when you come out, I showed him, I called him, I said, I'm gonna show you. And I got up there and I did it. I got some of those, what we call Chris Shaw pumps, you know, those high heels that Prince wears. And I said, I came on, money, 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 and just threw money up. Money, 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 money. And the audience went crazy. Money, 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 money. And Red Fox was high on that shit. Him and Flip Wilson both, they would get into a closet that wouldn't come out for weeks. And that's when cocaine was cocaine. And so, that's when I made all the money. Y'all, you guys think that's like this little boy that they said, I forget his name, I think they slapped or whatever, I'll think of his name in a minute, and I'm happy for him. They said that he made all the money, and he made more money than Eddie Murphy, more money than this. And when Eddie Murphy was the biggest star in the world, you know, I said, no, $100 was $100. $100 is like $25 now. I said, so there's a difference. You understand? And that's not balling. I mean, that cocaine was pure. That's when I made all my money in the 80s. Because they'd be in those limos, and those limos was from here to Louisiana. They were long. They wasn't no play limousines, okay? And they would pass that around, and $2,000 bills, they didn't play. And they'd be so high, and I would, you know, I didn't do drugs, and they would snort that stuff, and when it got to me, I'd put it in my pocket.
Put the money in your pocket?
Yeah, and they didn't know.
Yeah.
And they just put out another 2,000. They had bills like this. And I got filthy rich.
Well, you know, that brings me to another question. A lot of the great people that you worked with, including Richard, Freddie Prince, you know, Red Fox, a lot of these people, they're not alive now. And a lot of these comedians,
they're gone.
They're gone. And you have been able to last the time. How is it, from a health standpoint, that you've been able to outlive a lot of these other folks? Was it because they lived such a toxic life?
Yeah, because of the drugs and things that they did.
Yeah, that was part of the whole scene.
It ages you. And it's also their diet, what they ate.
Yeah.
And the fast foods.
Fast. So they were moving too fast. They didn't take time to rest. They didn't take time to exercise.
Oh, they did sexercising, but they didn't do any exercise.
They did
they did a lot. Oh, they did a lot of screwing. Oh, now that a lot they did, and they would do it like the Bob, Ted, Alice, and Lassie, and everybody. You know, I was doing that era. Well, you know, and swapping wives, all that was doing that whole era. They were into that.
Wow, that's something.
Not like now, TV, it's all phony, but it was real. They were real.
Back in the day. Now.
And the room wasn't big as this.
We know that you have had some health challenges, and you've been able to overcome some of the challenges that you have had during this current healthcare system, which is ever changing right now. What's your thought about having gone through some of this? It's so confusing, this healthcare system that we're going through now. Well, do you have any thoughts about it?
Yeah, well, you have to exercise. You've got to eat the proper foods. You got to have the proper diet. You know, it's a lot of it's bland, but you can niggerize it. You know.
Put some herbs in there, some spices, and make it good.
Yeah. Like we did during slavery.
That's right. We want to thank you for being the leader for civil rights that you are. We are hoping that the community and the world understands what you have brought to the world by breaking barriers with your community in America, helping us to laugh, but at the same time think and understand the power of the people that we truly are. And as a result of that, foreseeing that we can become presidents, that we are the most beautiful women, that we are the most beautiful families, that we can run corporations, and also getting past the drugs, the things that could make us unhealthy, and for surviving those who have been poisoned and didn't make it. You made it, and we're proud of you, and we love you. And I just want to say thank you for being with us. We applaud you today.
And I just want to say that I'm so proud of black women, because black women are not, on record, they're not supposed to be here. Not the stuff they've seen and been tortured, and that white man slept with them and told them all kind of crazy stuff. So I love black women because they're really strong. They're God's gift, because it's just some sad stuff. It's really sad. But what's good is that we're strong and we're going to be fine. And we're down and there's no place but up for us. And we are going to be here and we're going to survive all of this crap. We really are. And I'm happy about that, because we are going to do what we always do. We're going to take lemon and make it out of lemonade.
Paul Mooney, God bless.
God bless you. And everybody go out and have a good meal and
exercise,
and steal some food if you have to.
All right. Remember always that your health is your wealth. I'm Dr. Jeffrey Watson, here with the greatest, Paul Mooney. We'll see you next time.
You have everything. Take my word, but I heard about the healthy you're gonna be. I just wanna be. Show me how you will be. I just wanna be. Show me how. Thank you.